Most corporate executives are running a race they don't quite understand. They spend immense amounts of management attention trying to execute true strategy, but are entirely confusing it with basic operational efficiency. Improving your supply chain, reducing defects, or shaving days off delivery times are strictly necessary tasks. But doing the exact same thing your competitors do, only slightly cheaper or faster, is a tactical requirement to stay in business. It is not strategic positioning. This chart demonstrates the brutal trap of the open market. When an unprotected industry shows high profit margins, it acts as a magnet. New companies flood into the same space, match the existing operational tactics, and fragment the demand until all economic profit is crushed down to zero. On a completely level playing field, outworking the competition serves only as a desperate survival mechanism. It offers no actual path to market dominance. The dividing line between a tactic and a strategy comes down to isolation. Tactical decisions happen entirely internally. Strategic choices, however, depend completely on anticipating the actions and reactions of outside economic agents. A manager executing tactics asks inward-looking questions, like how do we improve delivery times? A strategic leader asks, what business do we want to be in? That choice dictates your external enemies, jumping the risk from limited to success or survival. If a management decision does not dictate who you are competing against and how they can retaliate, it is an illusion to call it strategy. Traditional business education often teaches managers to juggle massive, complex models featuring dozens of competing market forces. Leaders looking to build a winning company must ignore the noise. They need a radical simplification, focusing solely on one overwhelmingly dominant force. That metric is a barrier to entry. This is the exact equivalent of an incumbent's competitive advantage, a structural trait that literally prevents rivals from copying your success. This flowchart illustrates the stark binary of the competitive landscape. You either possess an uncopyable advantage that keeps rivals out, placing you on the yes branch, or you do not. If you follow the no branch, any temporary edge you find will be instantly erased by the next entrant. Without a barrier, your perceived advantage has zero structural value, reducing the company to endless, grueling operational labor. To stop wishing for a strategy and start building one, a company must possess at least one of exactly 3 genuine methods for building these unassailable barriers. The first is supply. This diagram represents a strict cost advantage. A company owns proprietary technology or has exclusive access to critical resources that rivals literally cannot obtain, allowing them to manufacture at a permanently lower cost. The second is demand. This is pure customer captivity. It relies on deep user habits, immense search costs, or switching costs so painful that clients are effectively locked in to their current provider. The third is economies of scale. When an incumbent operates at immense production volume, their fixed costs are spread paper thin. A smaller, new entrant mathematically cannot match those prices without bankrupting themselves. Unless a business is actively managing one of these 3 distinct pillars, they are completely vulnerable to the inevitable grinding of the market. Because these 3 structural pillars rely on highly specific conditions, true competitive advantage is almost never global. It is inherently local. Ambitious CEOs frequently make the fatal error of trying to fight a scattered, borderless war from day one. Spreading resources too wide instantly dilutes any potential structural barrier they could have built. Apple's early history provides a perfect cautionary tale. They took a fragmented approach, attempting to fight on both hardware and software fronts simultaneously, with very limited initial market dominance. Microsoft secured a permanent barrier by shrinking their battlefield. They dominated one tiny, highly localized product space, the operating system for IBM personal computers. Corporate monopolies are rarely born on vast global battlefields. They are forged inside highly restricted, tightly bounded local arenas. Walmart stands as the ultimate physical proof that this local imperative applies to geography just as strictly as it does to software. Discount retailing holds absolutely no proprietary trade secrets. Walmart's legendary logistics and pricing tactics were entirely visible to any competitor who wanted to copy them. Their true strategy relied on location. Instead of fighting a national war against massive retailers, They established absolute dominance in tightly circumscribed, uncompetitive rural regions first. They weaponized geographic scale, consolidating an iron grip on adjacent local territories to build a regional barrier to entry long before pushing their boundaries outward. Stop squandering time trying to win a fair fight on an open global stage. Real strategy requires choosing a specific local arena, building a structural wall, and letting the competition exhaust themselves on the outside.